the last couple of days on social media, there is that story that's been circulating about the new Marvel superhero Sabra, right?
Yeah.
Sabra, who is supposed to be Israeli, right? Like Israeli
and
superhero.
a Mossad agent.
Yeah. So I think she was created, like supposedly, right, by the Mossad to serve like Mossad purposes. Now there's a huge problem with, and like Marvel just was like did something like super cool, and now they like ruined it. With
Yeah,
this
I know.
With this whole Sabra character.
Like Miss Marvel was pretty.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
But my issue isn't that. My issue is you're creating a character that is working for an agency or a superhero. Isn't a superhero supposed to like save lives and be like good for all of mankind? So,
but this one is apparently fighting Arab terrorists.
I mean, for me, that's not like why is Marvel going to? It's one thing if like, I guess if it was like, if she was just somebody created by the Israelis for an Israeli audience.
Yeah, that's one thing. But this,
but this is like for an international audience, and you're telling them that it's okay to, one, see all Arabs as terrorists, two, that it's okay to have somebody that dehumanizes Palestinians, and not just to mention her name. Her name is after like. She's named like my guess is like Sabra after like Sabra and Shatila, right?
Yeah, that does not bring good like it's not not even about, it has a very negative
connotation in history. Yes, and that's just connotation. It's like really awful in
because
history.
of the Sabra and Shatila massacre.
Yeah,
that was basically sanctioned by the Israeli government. So the name Sabra by itself alone is very like triggering.
Like, you know what I'm thinking? Like forget all. I was just like, does Marvel not have like a public relations
Apparently
person
not.
That's like, hey guys, this might not be the best look.
No, I mean it's just it's like there's so many things that are wrong with
I don't mind. Sorry, there's a hair. I don't mind if there is an Israeli superhero. I really don't. That's not my issue. No, I know, but that's not my issue. My issue is like think about it. If it was created for an Israeli audience, whatever. Like, do you, right?
I guess.
But if it's like an international thing, I have a huge problem with that. I mean, think about it. That's like me being, I don't know, like if we had like an American superhero that all he did was kill Muslim Americans, I would have a problem with that. Yeah. So I kind of feel the same way. Am I making sense?
Yes, you're making absolute sense. And I think maybe we should better, I think we're trying to explain to people why it's offensive and it's very triggering for people, especially who are, Palestinian and Arab in general, because part of the description is fighting Arab terrorists. Really?
Well, in like one scene, she is supposedly like is fighting off this like Hulk character who has like a murdered Palestinian child or something. Like I'm not really sure, but like because I haven't seen the actual comic. I've only seen snippets that like other social media outlets like have shared, or other outlets have shared on social media. And so I don't know exactly what the storyline is. I just know that apparently she only sees the child as a human when she's fighting the Hulk. So I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to make it okay. Yeah, is this the only time was she responsible for the death of the child? Was the Hulk responsible for that? I'm not sure. You know?
I mean, it just doesn't look, like
there's
I said.
There's a lot of problems with that.
Yeah, and there's like whitewashing involved and like the name is triggering. Like the first thing I'm like, Sabra, what is this? And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay. And then like the whole, I don't know if you saw the description, like I said, fighting Arab terrorists. Like that is so like, what does that even mean? Yeah. Like, so are we all terrorists because we're Arab and she's fighting? Like, are you going to talk about the Palestinian Israeli situation? Like what do you like how do you write a script to this? Like what are you going to include, what are you not going to include?
So like my hope honestly is that like whoever is doing like PR for Marvel kind of gets their head on and is like, well maybe the backlash is not like what we were looking for or what we'd hoped for.
But do you really think they're going to actually change their plans to do this?
I think they might. You never know.
I hope so because it is does not look promising.
I can't talk to it. I'm like, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it's just so offensive and triggering, especially for, like, it's not just Palestinians, but Palestinians in particular. Yeah, like, I'm just offended by this whole idea.
I just think it's a very, it's not even so much offensive as much as it is just, like, weird. Like,
it is
why
weird.
is it's not okay to have a superhero that only saves some people? Like, right? That's my problem.
Yeah.
They only save some. Like Captain America saves everybody that's in need.
But
right?
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like you're talking about someone that part of the description is Israeli Mossad.
Yeah.
Okay. Israeli Mossad has killed and murdered, not just killed, murdered countless numbers of people.
Yeah.
Okay. So just that alone,
So like in short, because
it's very political.
It is very political. Like that was my whole thing. It's like, this is not fun anymore. Like, isn't this geared towards children? Like, anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought we'd bring
Like,
that
how
up.
do you write? Like, how do you justify that? Like, you're part of an agency, and this is supposed to make her like seem like, you know,
So
she's,
like here, you know what? I have a perfect way to explain this.
Okay.
Perfect way to explain this. So the reason I find this weird is because you're talking about one specific group of people, and this superhero is fighting like, you know, I mean, because I'm sure somebody is going to be like, you guys are racist, right? Like, you guys
We're
don't
racist?
want. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
But just wait,
Okay.
hear me out. Somebody's going to be like, you don't want an Israeli superhero. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
Why
if
can't-
you are
Yeah,
gearing
okay, I'll
something
let you
towards
finish.
kids, right? If you're gearing something towards kids, it should be like really inclusive, right? Everybody should be able to see themselves in this fictional character, kind of like the Little Mermaid. You know how they
Yes,
cast?
I wanna see that.
Yeah, how they cast Halle Bailey as not Halle Berry, Halle Bailey as the Little Mermaid,
Oh my
and
God, okay.
people are like, "Oh my God, the Little Mermaid can't be black." I'm like,
Yeah, people
why?
are losing
That's
their
different.
minds over
But
that.
that's
I don't
what I
get
mean.
that.
Like, everybody can now see themselves. There's two versions of the Little Mermaid, right? Disney made one early on where Ariel is white and she has red hair. And then there's this new live action one where she is black and she's beautiful and she still has red hair.
Yeah.
Reddish, kind of.
That's a whole topic altogether. But I
like,
get where you're
but
going.
you know what I mean? Like, every child should be able to see themselves in this fictional
But
character.
not an Israeli Mossad agent.
But, yeah, like, that's not a fictional character. These things, mermaids don't really exist. Okay,
And I don't have a
Mossad
problem.
agents do.
But just to respond to this whole us getting accused of being racist, which we're not, but like if you wanted an Israeli so much, you could have easily done it without having this description, this name,
Yeah.
this background for the character.
But honestly, but that's what I mean. Like, it's supposed to be fictional. Superheroes are fictional. Mermaids are fictional. Like, it's Cinderella is not real.
And
like,
can
Sleeping
I-
Beauty is not real. But if you're creating something where you're targeting an audience of children, and Marvel, I don't care what you tell me. Yes, maybe sometimes the movies are PG-13 or whatever. The audience is children. It needs to be inclusive and like full of like tolerance and love, and not like a Mossad agent that's like out to kill Arab people.
It's not a normal person. It's not a normal character.
Yeah,
it's somebody
and
who's
that's-
associated with a government agency that has murdered innocent people,
So like, yes,
has murdered artists,
yeah, it's like
cartoonists.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. For me, honestly, my whole thing is like, this is a fictional character, right? Like, and there's so many fictional characters out there that kids look up to. This is going to be geared towards children. If you're going to gear something towards kids, I feel like kids should be able to see themselves in this character, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, I would not want my kid to see themselves as that. I don't want a character associated with a government agency that is like known to like carry out like horrendous acts against civilians, right? I don't want to delve into detail. I don't want to make it seem like I am one-sided or the other-sided or this or that.
see,
But
yeah.
I just, if you're going to point something towards kids, like, shouldn't it just be inclusive? That's it. That's all I care. It's inclusivity. It should be inclusive.
Yeah, but there's also a responsibility. You have
Yeah.
to be responsible enough. Not like this, just this topic, and we don't even like getting political.
No.
Just this topic alone, just mentioning this, you're automatically like thrown into this
Yeah.
fray. You know what I mean? Like you're automatically gonna get political,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how hard you try to avoid it, because this is a
Yeah.
sensitive issue, and it's very hurtful.
You know, if you're going to make a fictional character that's supposed to like save the world, like, let's include everybody that lives in the world. That's it. Let's not make them kill other, like, bad guys can't be people who are like innocent civilians.
And let's not glorify.
There you go.
Let's not glorify.
The killing of innocent people.
Yeah, and by watching the show, if they actually produce the show or movie or whatever it is, this character, you're glorifying violence and killing little kids.
Without continuing to dive into this any deeper, I am going to put a poll on Instagram, and I want to find out on Instagram from you guys, like, how you feel. I am really interested in finding out how people feel, like, looking at, and I'm taking all, and even like on TikTok, and you know, I just want to know, and on YouTube, leave comments. I want to know, like, how it is that you feel. I want to hear the view from the other side. If somebody can explain to me logically how this makes sense, I'm willing to hear you out. I have no problem with that. I just need an explanation of how this is like going to be good.